approach. Excellencies, it is crucial to acknowledge that economic growth in developing countries is often challenged by unfair global financial systems. The imbalances in our global economic framework are driving rising inequality, inflation, and unemployment, making collective efforts more urgent than ever. The calls for climate action and climate finance continue to be ignored even as the crisis deepens. In the middle of these challenges, however, I see a tremendous opportunity in BRICS. With its collective voice representing nearly half of the global population and over a third of global GDP, BRICS has the potential to be a transformative force for a more equitable world order. Excellencies, intra-BRICS trade, investment, and tourism can ignite economic growth that not only benefits our member states, but also serves as a model for cooperation and solidarity in addressing global challenges. We must leverage our diverse economies and high growth potential to achieve tangible economic gains that uplift our people. Enhancing cooperation in the development of artificial intelligence is also essential. I strongly support the proposal made both by President Putin and President Xi on this matter. Furthermore, the expedited consideration of membership requests to the new development bank will serve to enhance alternative financing, particularly for infrastructure projects that are crucial to our development. Mr. President, Excellencies, Ethiopia exemplifies the practical relevance of our partnership, embodying the hope and potential that BRICS represents. Our nation, now the third largest economy in sub-Saharan Africa, is endowed with a young and dynamic workforce, vast arable land, and abundant renewable energy resources. These assets present unparalleled opportunities for investment and trade, and our ongoing macroeconomic reforms have unlocked new avenues for growth. Ethiopia is equally committed to ensuring food security, having become the largest wheat producer in Africa through enhanced productivity. Our investments in smart cities and tourism development highlight our cultural and historical richness, drawing visitors from around the globe. Therefore, I renew my call for strong intra-BRICS economic cooperation across sectors such as manufacturing, agriculture, energy, tourism, and importantly, artificial intelligence. As I conclude, let me assure you, Excellencies, of Ethiopia's unwavering commitment to actively participate in realizing our shared vision for a brighter future. Let us ensure that our partnership not only addresses our immediate challenges, but also lays the groundwork for a more equitable and inclusive multilateral world.
And of course, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia highlighting some of the challenges what the BRICS need to do to be able to solve all this and ensure a more balanced world together for a brighter future. Of course, he said that warrants some, wisdom and critical thinking to be able to navigate this and also reduce the adverse effect from the contesting powers. Let's welcome back RISHABH SETHI, and of course going straight away to the question of the position of India in ensuring that they can leverage the opportunities presented by the BRICS to bolster a more robust society for countries in the global south, particularly developing nations in Africa.
Clarice, for your questions. So first of all, I'm happy to be back on your live stream, and today I'm so much honored that finally we are discussing such an important agenda about this year's 16th BRICS Summit, which just ended today on the 24th of October in the capital city of Republic of Tatarstan, that is Kazan.
Yeah.
And when we talk about this year BRICS Summit, so firstly, I would like to congratulate to the presidency of the Vladimir Putin that this year they have successfully hosted more than hundreds of events in the different cities of Russia under the chairman presidency of BRICS by Russia in different spheres. Because when we are talking about the group BRICS, that is 5 countries and including the new members from this year's also.
Yeah.
So around officially 9 or 10 countries. So successfully have concluded all the events in different spheres, especially governmental events also, and also there are events which were related to cultural and humanitarian cooperation also, or maybe about the young people, youth also, or IT technology, and there were so many different topics that have been covered under BRICS, because
Yes.
BRICS is a group platform that basically works on a neutral grounds.
Yeah.
And basically in the reality, especially when we talk about the developing nations or developing countries, because BRICS, all if you see the group of these 5 countries, when they started in the year 2009, it was only 4-country BRIC, and finally in 2010, when South Africa was invited as representing the African continent, so officially after the 2010 summit, they become BRICS. And presently, how the BRICS is going much more popularized in the whole world. You can see now it is much more popular than G20 or European Union, or you can say like G7 or many other groups. Firstly, BRICS is not under any influence of the Western world. Okay. Secondly, BRICS is all the groups of these developing countries that are helping and supporting each other in development of strong cooperation also. But at the same time, BRICS has one more goal, to support all the other friendly countries, whether they are developing or the underdeveloped countries also. When we are talking about this group, they are representing, you can see, one of the main continents. For example, Brazil representing the whole Latin America,
Yeah.
then Russia, the Eurasia, then India and China representing the global South Asia, also in the Central Asia, and then South Africa, of course, representing the whole of the African continent. Then after, if you see the 2014 summit, when it happened, as an outcome, they have opened this initiative of the new development bank, which is also called as the BRICS Bank, which is based its headquarters in Shanghai, China, with an aim that we need an alternative payment system for the future. Because if you go back 16 years ago, when they initiated the first summit, they came up with the idea that in the future we will do have problems with the Western world, Western countries. So we need different alternative platform for each and every sphere. So BRICS is one group which was formed as an alternative to the G20 or G7.
Yeah.
And secondly, the 2014 summit, after they opened the BRICS Bank or the NDB New Development Bank, which is an alternative to the International Monetary Fund or the World Bank. And then third, if you see, after the 2017 summit in China in the city of Xiamen, they came up with the idea that it is a good time to expand this BRICS group. So they thought about the BRICS Plus concept. Why? Because a lot of countries all over the world, which were not under the control of the Western hegemony, they wanted to be a fair, independent and balanced world and a new world order.
Sure.
So that is why they started to showcase their own interest to be the part of the BRICS platform. And from that moment, so many countries started to showcase their own interest to be in this BRICS platform. So finally, in the 2023 summit, after they got the chance, and those 4 or 5 countries got invited officially. And from this year, these countries became officially the part of the BRICS group.
Sure.
Okay. So when we are talking about why BRICS is important, because if you see, the 45% of the global population, I'm talking about only these old 5 countries, 45% of the global population is under this group, these countries, 5 countries. And then around 33% of the world's land area is covered by these 5 countries only. And when you talk about Russia, China, and India inside this BRICS group, they play the most important and major role because Russia, being the biggest country in the world in terms of the land area, land size, and then India and China are the world's biggest country in terms of the population. Because when we talk about economy, when we talk about business and trade, where there is population, there is much more opportunities to develop stronger business.
Sure.
And BRICS came up with the agenda that we need a future new world order and a balanced world order, and we promote the multipolar world.
And of course, talking about a multi-polar world, one more time with you, SETHI. Well, I'm just going to refer again to the Foreign Minister of India, S. Jaishankar, who notes that, in this new dispensation, it is imperative for independent platforms to be strengthened and expanded to ensure equal access to progress. Here we are looking at the new world order that will actually move, maybe shift power from the global north to the global south. And this is being advocated for by BRICS and other organizations with the same vision. So the question is, what do you think is that strategy or the diplomatic strategy that the BRICS nations or BRICS Plus can put in place to be able to indulge the global north in this transformative agenda or journey to maybe bringing them to the realization that since after the Second World War, a lot has changed and we have new emerging powers that can also make decisive points on global issues. And of course, doing all of these, making them to accept these realities to mitigate the contestation that we are already facing in the 21st century as a result of this shift in, the world of dominance or maybe global power dynamics.
You're correct that we are living in the 21st century, and this is an era of digitalization. And right now, for BRICS, this is the golden period of time, because if you see the top 5 economies of the world, in these top 5 economies, 3 countries are from the BRICS group, that is China, India, and Russia. And when you're talking about all those countries which are being now the part of this group BRICS, or in the future they want to be the part, the first thing to understand that we should have mutual respect for each other with a proper mutual understanding. Because if you see from the last 3 days, this summit was happening in Kazan, and today was the last day when the BRICS Plus expansion conference was happened. Around more than 36 countries participated, and the 22 heads of these countries were there, and rest of those other foreign minister or vice prime minister, example, they have participated and represented it. So when we are talking about the collaboration and cooperation between all these countries, we need to understand that we should promote our own culture and tradition between our countries, because all these BRICS countries, when we are seeing, these countries are having very rich history, culture, tradition, and very old civilizations.
Yeah.
And we should not forget about that. We should have mutual respect with all these countries. We should develop a strong cooperation, economic and trade cooperation between our countries, and we should not use those Western dollars or euros. We should try to promote our local currencies to understand and to stop the hegemony of the Western powers. And this could be achievable. It is not an impossible thing. The main thing is that need to understand, because if you see from those last 2 or 3 years, how so many BRICS countries are doing the intra-BRICS trade between each other. Maximum countries, they are using their own local currencies to do these trade. For example, China, Russia, India. Even we have saw that so many African countries are doing trade with India with Indian rupees or even their local currency. So this is what the West is getting the understanding lesson that, of course, the golden time has gone for those developed countries. If you see just the GDP of those group of G7 countries, which is so-called developed countries in the world, their GDP is around 29%. And whereas on the other side, the GDP of the European Union was 14.5%. And in the last, if you see the GDP of the only 5 BRICS countries, it was around 37%. So the GDP of BRICS countries are growing at a very fast pace rate every year. And this is one practical and example to understand and a big lesson for the Western countries also, because those developed countries who want to control or try to make much more like control all over those underdeveloped or developing countries, it is not agreed. They should have each mutual respect for each other countries. So I can say in the last to finish on this, that of course when we are talking, the golden period for the future is the global south and the African countries, and that is why now more than 30 countries are already in the queue to be the part of this BRICS platform. And today itself, when the president of Belarus, Mr. Lukashenko, have said that we are one of the country who will be the partner of this BRICS platform also.
Okay, thank you for that, SETI. Let's go back to South Africa, taking Good News CADOGAN, and inferring from what you said earlier on about the fact that the BRICS nations should ensure that African natural resources do not leave Africa. We should have, transformation happening across Africa. That is from exporter of raw materials to a producer of finished goods. Let's come back now to see the feasibility. We know that African countries at the moment still have a very strong, some sort of connection with multilateral institutions, particularly financial institutions. And on the table of discussions, BRICS leaders discuss about this debts burden, which are actually derailing the economic trajectory of African countries. So in terms of navigating or solving the debt crisis which African nations are actually facing at this particular moment, how do you think this rapprochement with the BRICS bloc can, bring about maybe good ways to navigate all of this without, bringing burden to the mineral resource of the African continent?
It will be, in the words of the agreement, or rather one of the resolutions, head resolution made today at the end of the BRICS Summit, to have mutually beneficial collaboration agreements across the different countries. So in the spirit of creating, leveraging the raw materials that are found on the continent, there will have to be finance made available and investments made by the various countries in a collective pot that could be housed in many ways. One of those vehicles is the BRICS Bank that could actually reallocate investments to actually create a virtuous cycle between the extraction of raw materials from the ground to the beneficiation thereof and selling of same across the members of BRICS and also outside the membership of BRICS Plus. So there will have to be not just a country level or a national level type of economic trajectories being mapped out. There has to be continental, regional, and nation-state specific kind of economic development pathways to ensure that those raw materials that are found in these countries on the continent are sellable right across within the continent and also across big markets like India, China, Russia, and many others that are available. So it is important to ensure that the economic models are balanced to such an extent that the economies of the member states of BRICS and BRICS Plus are not found wanting.
Yeah. Indeed, to ensure that economics are not found wanting. And this brings us to the place of governance with you, SETHI. We're talking about a new world order with the BRICS championing. Let's look at the fact, some of the bodies that may be in charge of taking some decisions which affect the global world actually are not part of the BRICS bloc. And we also know that the member states and the leaders in Kazan highlighted the need for reforms of the United Nations Security Council and other global institutions. So how can these decisions influence the existing governance system that will match the present, the present world, given that even the UN chief Antonio Guterres joined his voice to that of the leaders of the BRICS nations?
It's a bitter truth that all those organizations that are based in the US or maybe in the European state, they are somehow directly or indirectly under the control of these political leaders of these countries. You can see this has been highlighted also in this BRICS summit that the charter of the UN and UNSC also, these already are very, very old rules, whatever these charters has been formed so many years ago after the World War II when these UN was formed. And these charters need to be revised. These charters need to be remodified, because if you see, there are so many geopolitical situations happening in the world, and especially you see what is happening in the Middle East. But nobody is ready to hear to the United Nations or the UNSC. So then what role they are playing? If you see, today, if you listen to the speech of respected Mr. President Putin also, what he said in the concluding remark, that all those dollars, when we are talking about these money, the Western powers, they are spending all this money on these war machines. Okay, so these somehow money are being used in for a negative way to disturb the human life. Sure. And if you see on the another side, when we talk about the platform of BRICS, all those countries who are whether they are the part of officially the part of BRICS or who are interested to be the part of BRICS in the future, they always promote the multipolar world. But second major thing, they don't support any type of violence. They always support the stability and peace in the world, because the main goal is to have main equality in the world, and each and every country have the fair right for the development of their country and for the good quality of life for the citizen of those country also. Mm-hmm. If you see, I want to give you one more example, small example. This year, in the same city of Kazan, the BRICS Games were held successfully at a very, very big, huge level. And why this initiative was formed? Because if you see from last many years, somehow the politics is getting mixed into the sports level also. So in the Olympics, the athletes who are sportsmen, who have nothing to do with any type of politics, they were not allowed from Belarus or from Russia. They were not allowed to participate in these mega international events. All the year, they spend their energy, their money to get trained to participate in the Olympics, because for each and every sportsman, it's a dream for the life to be in Olympics. But and somehow under the control of the US, those athletes were not allowed to participate. And this is how the alternative of Olympics, the BRICS game, was initiated, which was a major success, because there, if you see, around 80 to 90 countries athletes participated in this BRICS sports event, which happened in Kazan. And second thing, if you see now, there is another project about the education project for the young people, that is Brics University, where the university from all those big BRICS countries are trying to collaborate and cooperate, which will give the chance for the young youth of all these BRICS country to study in any of this country, and later after completed their education they can utilize these diploma, these degree to work in any of this BRICS country. Third thing is the BRICS financial system or BRICS Pay. Just you saw a week ago in Moscow there was a BRICS business forum happened, where there was a demonstration showcase for the BRICS payment system, how in the future maybe if it will be launched, how it will work, how it will happen. Because when we are talking about the financial system under BRICS, it is very much required and very much needed for all the BRICS country and the other friendly member country of the BRICS states. Because you see how after from last 2 or 3 years, thousands of unprecedented sanctions were put on Russia, and even Russia was taken out from the SWIFT financial system. And due to that, people from all over the world, they are not able to make business trade properly, because they are not able to transfer, import or export and pay for the money. And there was so much instability happened in the beginning. But after that, when all these countries started to do the business with their own local currency, somehow the alternative was formed, and BRICS currency, now the BRICS financial payment system is one big example, which is an alternative to the SWIFT, which all the BRICS country and the other supporting member states can utilize to pay with one currency in any of this BRICS state. For example, if you see in the European Union, so one euro currency they are using in other member states. Similarly, the concept will be for the BRICS financial payment system, whether it will be launched physically or it will be launched in a digital way also. And then another very important point is the BRICS internet, because nobody knows what will happen in the future. What today is happening from the last 2 or 3 years with Russia, maybe something can similarly happen to other countries also, maybe with China, maybe some with India. Because if you see the Western country, if something is not for their interest, then they started to put on sanctions. So who knows that maybe in the future they will stop the internet also, because somehow internet is also under the control of Western power. So we as a group of BRICS countries need to start our own alternative BRICS internet system, so as to be safe and secure in the future also.
It's about having alternative solutions that will not bring about more chaos or dependency in the global world, questioning the scope for international relations or corporations. And when you talk about all of this, we seek to analyze how the unfavorable situations will always bring about innovations and other practical decisions that can move a country or a continent forward. And that's we have seen in Russia, and we still see from the 14 sanctions which have been imposed on the country. We've seen a great milestones attained in order to ensure the continuity of the economy. And of course, news today showed that many Russians are optimistic about a better future. And this comes to ask the question of how prepared the African continent is. Mr. Cadogan, it's often said, some viewpoints will always say, school of thoughts will always say that to be able to be a thought leader, there is need to understand how international politics occur, be it in the business sphere or even in the sphere of governance and other aspects that directly affect the way the world is being controlled. So let's look at the readiness of Africa. What level of innovation has Africa gained in line with bringing about African solutions to African problems, especially as the crisis in the global at the global level directly affected, especially in line with food maybe food and other aspects. Let's be particular with the grain that was coming from Ukraine, and how the crisis in Eastern Europe has actually brought about a delay or some sort of discrepancies. What innovative measures do you think that the African continent do have to sail through these changing dynamics or changing times?
I can say Africa is both ready and not ready. On other aspects, Africa is ready. Why am I saying so? I'm saying Africa is ready because when it comes to engineering, technical, economic, and other forms of thinking and philosophies, and science in general, we have actually reached dizzy heights in terms of being capable in that respect. But everything at a nation-state level, most importantly so at the continental level, revolves around leadership. And in this case, leadership, I can say, is divided into four. There is political leadership, which is the public sector kind of leadership. There is private sector leadership, which is about business.
Sure.
There is non-profit sector leadership, which is about the non-profit organizations and the role that they play in the economy and in the politics. And then there is cooperative sector leadership, which is more around community-owned means of production and vehicles that are used to actually drive development and community participation in macroeconomic activities. Insofar as political leadership is concerned, Africa is not doing very well there. And one of the biggest contributors is not something that is unique to Africa, but is found right across the world and also even in the global north or in the collective West. The egoistic approach to leadership that prevents political leaders and public sector leaders from setting aside their own personal needs and prioritizing national and, in this case, continental needs, so that in the end, Agenda 2063 can be achieved. So those negotiations between Africa as a continent and nation states in intra-Africa trade and also in trading within the BRICS Plus environment are going to be marred by inability to put continental interest first and subservient approach to even not just personal but tribal and nationalistic type of needs. That is the one challenge. The second challenge is around the West and how that problem I created earlier on, I just explained. That problem is of egoistic leadership or personal interests over national interests. Is that the West is not only about arms and war, it's also about manipulation as well. And they know that some of the political leaders would love to enrich themselves personally, and they would put on the table benefits that are going to accrue to them personally, as opposed to benefits that will accrue to their nations or to the continent, per se. And if you compare that with the mutually beneficial and multilateral kind of negotiations with the BRICS Plus, you'll find that even though the new dispensation with multilateralism and an alternative approach to the unipolar world, it may not win. So that is the second problem that we have. The third problem that we have in terms of readiness is more around the whole question of technology and being able to manage technology collaborations with the developed world and Africa so that the collaboration is not to the benefit of the West, but to the benefit of both. Because if we then import that technological collaboration and merge that with our endowment of natural resources, we may create a win-win situation whereby the nation states on the continent benefit and youth unemployment is also solved. And then also, on the other hand, technology transfer happens and everybody wins, because then whether it is processed foods or it is processed minerals as end user products exported to Europe, everybody then will benefit, because then the Europeans will find the products that they want, the Western world will find the products that they want, and intra-Africa trade as well will prosper and flourish. So that's how we can actually deal with the challenges that we faced on the continent.
Of course, dealing with challenges that we face in Africa and also elsewhere around the globe, bringing us to this question, Mr. Sethi, you know, when we look at the sixth point of these Kazan declaration, which I'll read, like 6, we note the emergence of new centers of power, policy decision-making, and economic growth, which can pave the way for a more equitable, just, democratic, and balanced multipolar order. And of course, maybe saying that multipolarity can expand opportunities for the bloc. Now, let's analyze the feasibility of these new centers of even power decision-making that will align with these some of the philosophies of a new world order. Without, because I will always love to reiterate on this, we are aware, and from what you people have said so far, it's not going to be a smooth one, because nobody wants to lose that position of, you know, having the prerogatives to take decisions at will. So how can we, you know, use all of these potential or impending centers, so maybe in the area of policy decision making, to solve already the problems which we are having in this world of multipolarity? Hello, Sethi.
Yeah. Can you see me?
I can hear
sure.
you now. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, first of all, when we are talking about the future, new world order, or maybe the other term we can say the future multipolar world, we need to be very much careful about that thing, because the point is that so many countries are still interested to be the part of this BRICS platform, but they had to be very much cautious about that, because till now, whoever countries are the part of this platform, they are not under the control of the Western powers, because all these countries believe, and not only believe, they also support for the equitable balanced world. And also they also believe that these all countries should help in the development of peace, security and trade between all these developing nations and the underdeveloped nations also. And when we are talking about the main point which was written in the this Kazan summit as an outcome, this main idea was that to reshape the global south, economic and political alignment, encouraging the cooperation in the different areas such as the technology transfer, climate change. Climate change is one of the main agenda, and also to reduce the global carbon footprint together to form as a like a forum or as a union also, and also to achieve the agricultural sustainability, because you saw maybe there was one big issue which was raised. It was about the food security issue, because if you saw from last many years what is happening now, the issues in the Middle East or the Eastern Europe, because of all these geopolitical issues, somehow the food grains were not able to be exported in different countries, because somehow there was the involvement of those political leaders from the Western countries. Okay, and then the main point was in the contributing the equitable international order. Okay, and also there was one more critical focus point as an outcome of this Kazan summit, was the role of technology and innovation in shaping the future of the global cooperation. Because when we are talking about the BRICS nation, they have emphasized that the importance of developing these digital infrastructure and creating a regularly framework that fosters innovation while ensuring the data sovereignty and cybersecurity.
Yeah.
So somehow there was a main agenda in the sphere of IT technology that was about the cybersecurity and the artificial intelligence, because AI is the future. As I told before, that we all are living in the 21st digital century, and now there are so many different type of war that is happening, and one of these type of wars are like cyber attacks. So we need to be careful and protect our countries with the help of artificial intelligence, and we need to develop strong collaboration and cooperation in this sphere of cybersecurity. And also, Russia has pushed for enhanced collaboration also during the summit, and highlighted that the bloc's ambition to lead in the technological advancement also. Okay. And BRICS has also recognized that technology has a powerful tool for bridging the development gap, especially among the nations that have been traditionally marginalized in the global economy also. Indeed. And there was one more idea about the launch of the BRICS Innovation Network and Digital Connectivity Initiative, which is like an example that such a initiative to facilitate the knowledge sharing and the skill sharing between all the BRICS country and the partner countries also. And also I want to stress one more point. When this BRICS summit was starting this 3 days ago, and today this summit was concluded successfully. If you see still in the Western world how it has been showcased, because they wanted to showcase that Russia is like an isolated country, but in reality ground, Russia can never be isolated, and all the friendly countries of BRICS and supporting groups and their leaders was there in Russia. And if you ask in any of the guests who came to Russia to attend the summit in Kazan, everybody had a very strong and positive impression, and they really wanted to return back to Russia. And this event was a big showcase to the Western world that all the BRICS blocks, BRICS country and friendly countries are not dependent on the Western countries, because all these BRICS countries are self-sufficient with different type of products or natural resources, and that is why these countries are not facing any type of problem, especially in the development of the economy or the growth of the GDP each and every year.
Absolutely, and it is that optimism or assurance that can even bring about a more, intentional, cooperation among the BRICS nations, and even with the Russian Federation. Just concluding a statement from you, 1 minute, Good News CADOGAN, on especially the scope for Africa and what the African nations representing the BRICS can do to indulge the complete continent for the betterment of the nation, the continent as a whole.
And the first thing I would like to sort of wish for is that the 3 member countries that were there in Kazan and sort of are signatories to the resolutions to convene an urgent African Union summit on this BRICS summit, and actually discuss these and socialize these resolutions across the continent, so that in the end, there is some kind of a support and also readiness, region by region. And I would follow that brief with regional sittings, wherein all of the regional member countries would then decide how they want to contribute to the resolutions that have been taken today. That's all I can say for now.
Okay, thank you. Let's end with you, SETHI, the take-home message as we culminate to this edition of Global Insight.
Thank you. So I just want to add last point to end up with that when we are talking about the new world order, the future world, I know there are so many type of barriers, especially when we are talking about the issues with the Western world. we, as the friend of all the BRICS country and BRICS supporting country, need to hold the hand of each other and need to understand that we should collaborate and cooperate for the development of business and trade between our country. But not only that, we should also need to collaborate in the sphere of humanitarian and cultural cooperation, because all these BRICS countries have their own rich culture and rich history, which need to be shared with the youth of all the BRICS countries, because youth is the future for the development of the country. Youth is the backbone spine for the development of economy of the country, and also youth is the present that can change the present of the country. So we should always be united, support each other, promote our local currencies, and promote much more projects in different spheres, and especially also in the sphere of energy and hydrogen energy. Thank you so much for your invitation, and looking forward to see you soon again. Thank you so much.
Okay, and thank you, dear SETHI, for accepting to bring about clarity to our topic for discussion this day. Thank you, Mr. GOODNEWS CADOGAN, for the insight, particularly on the sphere of the African continent, and to you, dear MIODRAG, for your insight as well. When the mindset changes, that's when you see new things coming into play. And of course, that is why today we are talking about the new world order to challenge the traditional setting of the world. But then we do it putting humanity first, and of course, ensuring that we all benefit from the endowment of the global world. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for trusting the Pan-African television for you media. And on this note, I will leave you, but stay in the company of programs on For You Media, and see you on Saturday as we continue to brainstorm and analyze topical issues shaping our world of today. Bye-bye.